After a whirlwind turnaround, the Pirates playing in New York last night, and here this afternoon, the windy city of Chicago. They're lining up for matinee baseball here from Wrigley Field. It's the Pirates and the Cubs. And welcome into the booth. Joe Block along with John Wayner with you here today. And so the Pirates, after dropping 2 out of 3 to the Mets, now draw the Cubs. And here in this one, the Pirates lately, again, looking back at what we've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks, they have not been playing their best baseball, though.
No, bad time to struggle, both offensively and as a pitching staff. You see the record. They were a season-high 9 over on May 28th, just 5 14 since. And you can blame the offense over a run and a half lower than they were up to the 28th. The average was down, slugging is down, OPS is down, and the ERA to boot is up almost a run. And when you don't hit and you don't pitch, you're not going to win many games.
And it looked like the pitching was turning around for a little bit, and the hitting has been so good over the course of the year. Looks like we got an uptick last night from one of the key cogs in the offense, and that was Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, Andrew, we're used to him catching fire in the middle months of the season. June and July, he usually owns, and hopefully last night starts things off for Andrew. He has struggled for most of the first half of the season. Last night, what I liked was the line drive to left field, the home run, the double, the single, getting a little more extension, getting that bat out there a little bit further, making hard contact that way. Hopefully, this means he's getting ready to get hot and have one of those player of the month type months.
Yeah, 3 hits for him yesterday. He was hitting 140 in June before that. And also Matt Joyce, who was excellent last night, both with the glove and with the bat.
Bad news, you lose Starling Marte. Good news, you have a guy like Matt Joyce to throw in there, and this guy's been nothing but incredible. He's showing some leather last night, one of the best catches we've seen all year, and you don't expect that. You expect this from Matt Joyce. That's all he's done since he's been a Pirate. He's hit the ball hard, he's pulled the ball, he's hit the ball up the middle, he's hit the ball the other way, and he's hit the ball out of the ballpark. An impressive home run for some 440 feet last night, and so nice to give Joyce some at-bats.
And if he had enough at-bats to qualify, he'd be leading the National League in slugging percentage, and they'll need some slugging against the reigning Cy Young Award winner. Jake Arrieta gets the start for the Cubs here this afternoon from Wrigley Field. Field here in Chicago. Day baseball here from the Windy City. And always at Murphy's, they got a fun sign. That's just outside the ballpark here. And a lot of Pirates fans making their way here to Chicago, maybe living here in Chicagoland. And Jake Arrieta is the draw for the Buccos here today.
Yeah, it seems the Pirates can't miss Arrieta. Every time they play him, you got to face him. And he is the best right-handed pitcher in baseball. And the Pirates have faced some tough righties. And Arrieta with that big curveball. That's a pitch he doesn't even throw but maybe 10 times a game. But he'll elevate the fastball, he'll cut the ball, he'll throw a slider and a changeup, and he locates it pretty well. And the time's overpowering. And a guy that we're going to have to figure out. And he is human. He is hittable. And as you'll see here in his last couple of starts, somewhat human.
I mean, before that, the previous 4 months, he's 20-0. So, yeah, starting to get to him a little bit. 2 out of his last 4 starts, he's only gone 5 innings.
And you just have to try to figure out a way. Yeah. Maybe he leaves the ball up, you hit it out of the ballpark, but if you can bunch a couple of hits, maybe steal a base or 2, come up with a clutch hit with runners in scoring position, he's beatable.
And for the Cubs, also there's Dexter Fowler. Wilson Contreras, a catcher, called up today. Another one of the prospects. They got 9 guys 26 years and younger today, and he's not in the starting lineup to begin here in his major league debut. Dan Potash and Kent DeColvey back in the studio with a game break. Series opener this afternoon between the Pirates and the Cubs. Francisco Liriano is the nod for the Buccos here today. And last time around, a little bit of an improvement for Liriano.
Yeah, we saw the swing and miss. The stuff was moving. He throws the slider. He throws the changeup. It looks like it's a strike. It darts out of the zone. He gets the swing and miss. And the fastball, like to see him throw it inside. That's another pitch. It looks like a ball ends up being a strike. So he got the strikeouts up. He limited the guys hit-wise, just 4 hits allowed. But overall this year, not a great first couple of months for Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, the numbers, we've not seen that consistency yet, but he has a chance on building on that last one. But of course, we know the Cubs can hit too, as they can pitch. Always a difficult lineup, though. The wind is blowing in today here at Wrigley, at least to start. So maybe that'll help both pitchers here this afternoon. And the Pirates looking to get back above 500 with a victory today here against these Cubs.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All, and by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
They're giving those away in the bleachers here today at Wrigley. What's the score? Nothing. Who's winning? The Bears. No, it's the Pirates or the Cubs here today, of course. Bright sunshiny afternoon, a little bit warmer here too. We saw the beaches along Lake Michigan start to get full of some folks, and this place full of folks as well. Sellout here at Wrigley this afternoon. And look at the RAV4 lineup for the Buccos here today. John Jaso is going to be starting things. There's Lake Michigan in the background with Gregory Polanco to follow. Andrew McCutcheon, a 3-hit night for the number 3 hitters. Always hit well here at Wrigley. Freeze, and then Matt Joyce in there for Starling Marte again. Harrison, Mercer, Chris Stewart back in the lineup as well, and he'll catch Francisco Liriano.
And Jake Arrieta, I don't know. I mean, we've talked so much about him. It kind of gets old. He's that good. 10-1, 186 the ERA. Opponents hitting just 178 against him. And just has so many weapons. 4-pitch guy. Maybe the most impressive thing is the fastball batting average against is just 197. And throws across his body. There's deception. There's location. There's movement. Tough guy to hit.
And the Honda defense for the Cubs. Matt Caesar in left. That's Albert Almora Jr. in right field. Just called up last week with Dexter Fowler centering them. Baez, Russell Zobris, Rizzo, No Chris Bryant, a little under the weather today. Montero doing the catching for Arrieta. He's only thrown out one attempted base stealer in 29 tries this year. That matters.
Yeah, that might be something if you can get some base runners and maybe start moving some guys. Even some hit and runs, open up some holes. But you got to get on first. you got to find a way to get on the bases.
The game starts with a strike. Jake Arrieta, 10-1. That and one we hadn't seen last time the Pirates faced him. Finally, he's been beaten this year.
And it wasn't like, for him a bad day is 5 innings, 3 runs, 12 strikeouts in those 5 innings.
Got the pitch count up early.
Yeah, that was kind of a strange line. He doesn't give up many hits, but that was against Arizona June the 5th. He gave up 9 hits in 5 innings.
Now the 2-1.
So took the first pitch. Saw him turn around a couple fastballs in that New York City series.
Down the line and a foul ball. Maybe they skipped school today to be here. Saw those t-shirts earlier. Got a school t-shirt.
Left-handed batters have a slight advantage over righties. Well, I shouldn't say slight. I guess lefties hit .212 against them, which still isn't very successful. Right-handed batters just .151.
Pirates putting in 3 lefties in there today, excluding Liriano, so that's 4. Polanco due next. So already 6 pitches seen by Jaso through those sunglasses.
And even with a 3-2 count, leadoff batter at the game, not likely to see a straight fastball. That was a slider.
F. Branson. Called out on strikes. Eight pitch at bat, but ends in a strikeout for Arrieta.
And that's just a fastball and just freezes John Jaso. He'll throw that fastball. Sometimes it's running in on the lefty. That one kind of running the other way.
Now another lefty in Polanco hitting at .291. 96 from Arrieta. I'm curious today, if the Pirates end up working up some pitch counts, as we've seen Arrieta in 2 of those last 4 starts, only going 5 innings. Again, this Cubs team has been very, very complete this year, but the relievers starting to falter somewhat. And so, obviously when you're facing one of the better starting pitchers, if you can get into the bullpen a little sooner, it's probably a better thing. And at least in the Cubs case, it seems that's been a decent strategy as of late.
Well, their starting rotation by far the best in baseball. Nobody even close. Almost a run better than the Mets, who I think are second among the starting pitchers. And so, yes, you'd rather face this bullpen than this starting rotation just because they have been incredible, really. I think.
That ERA is .233 for their rotation. That, if that finished the season like that, it'd be the lowest in baseball in almost 100 years.
Yes, and and there probably will be some sort of correction at some point in time. But Chris Bosio He gets to sit back, relax, and watch these guys go about their business.
And so far, the Pirates trying to make Arrieta work a little bit.
There is times where he can get a little wild. There's 4 different starts this year. Arrieta has walked 4 batters.
Lined into left and a foul ball. Not enough oomph. Tailed over the line.
With him and the mechanics and the way he throws across his body, you'd think it would be difficult at times to have that consistent release point. I mean, he steps almost like when a right-handed batter almost looks like he's stepping behind you as a right-handed batter.
Again fouled off.
And so when he lands, he's closed because the left foot's so much further in front or more towards the third base side than the right. And so pitchers, they release the ball out in front of them. And so it's so much more difficult, I would think, for a pitcher to be able to continually get that extension, to get that hand out in front of him, to be able to consistently locate it.
Sky to center. Fowler there. 2 gone, but on 15 pitches.
Well, for your Rivers Casino tips to win, you know, we talk so much about Arrieta and everybody thinks he's impossible to beat. Well, he's been beat. He's given up hits. He's given up runs. He's walked guys. He can be humanized. So you hope to find a way and not put him on that pedestal. And for Liriano, I think it's all about the movement. You saw the package from his last start. The slider was darting down and away to lefties, down and into righties like we're used to seeing. And more movement on the changeup. And when Liriano's at his best, he throws pitches that look like strikes and ends up as balls, and he throws balls that end up as strikes, you know, to a hitter's eye, and that's when he's at his best.
McCutchen with a team leading 10 home runs that came last night in New York. Has hit well here at Wrigley Field. .330 in his career. 3-hit night last night. That's a strike from Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief. Work at the plate on this Friday afternoon. Jim Wolf over at first. Eric Cooper at second base. And Ramon DeJesus manning third today.
Another fastball at 95. And I hope last night was McCutchen. As you see, the ball got a little deep on him. Fouled that off about the middle of the body. And the one thing we saw was McCutchen was on time last night.
He might reach here. Montero's still able to throw him out.
That's hard to believe.
Still, though, a 20 pinch hitting for Jake Arrieta as the Cubs come to bat against Liriano. Bottom of the first. Friday matinee from Wrigley Field. And you got to play. Usually during the weekends they play all day games here. They're mandated by the city to do so. But night games next 2 nights. National TV. Here's the Cubs lineup. And brought to you by Honda with Dexter Fowler atop the order. Matt Caesar is in there. Ben Zobrist, who leads baseball and on-base percentage, all in front of Anthony Rizzo, who has done well against the Pirates. Albert Almora in his first week in the big leagues with Baez, Russell, Montero, and Arrieta to follow. No Chris Bryant today. He's under the weather. And Liriano works to Fowler. He's going to have a base hit to start the game.
Slapping the ball down the third base line and the in-between hop. That's what makes it so tough. If that ball's on its way down, Freese is going to be able to glove that. But there's a lot of topspin. The ball's on its way up. It's an in-between hop. That's a tough one to pick.
Very sure-handed over there. And Fowler with some good wheels. There's no chance. He's aboard with an infield hit. Matt Caesar. Blasts this one into left, and 2 batters in, 2 pitches in. The Cubs lead 2-0.
Definitely not the start you wanted. Coming at him, fastball, center cut. And a good swing. No doubting.
Now Ben Zobrist, first Cub to take a pitch. Third home run for Caesar.
Hyundai numbers for Liriano. Now that ERA has just gone up after a couple of batters. You see the walks. The walks are up there. Strikeouts, about strikeout per inning. Opponent average 263. And that ERA already up a quarter run.
And those walks lead baseball, 41. And to me, you know, you're talking about getting the movement with all of his pitches. That's been such a big key. I've noticed too, to add on to that, I think the fastball command, whether it's either been too many walks or, like we saw in Caesar's case, too well to hit.
You know, when you talk about the movement of Liriano or the command of Liriano, routine play there for Freese. You know, for Francisco, command a lot of times, and what we've seen him when he's successful, his command is out of the zone, not in the zone. And you know, the fastball has never been a huge pitch for him. It wasn't. His fastball is not a swing and miss pitch. It's not a really a strikeout pitch. It's a lot of times he'd throw it for show and to set up something off speed. This year, I think more so than the past years as a Pirate, he's thrown the fastball in more. He's thrown it for strikes more. Obviously, in this game, he left one down the middle, and it cost him. But he's always relied so much on the movement of the changeup and the slider. And a lot of times that movement took the ball out of the zone, and that's why he was so successful. He'd get so many chases.
Here's Anthony Rizzo.
But I don't think for many of his starts this year, there's been as much movement, and that's been part of the problem. There hasn't been the downward movement in particular.
Now ahead 1-2.
I talked about it so many times. I marveled that Liriano would face a team 3 or 4 or 5 times a year, and they'd continually chase pitches out of the zone like that. And it's because of the late break, the late movement. It looks like a strike and it disappears.
And for Liriano, you know, trying to get those swings out of the zone, I mean, that's what he does. And this year, the numbers have dipped quite a bit, not getting those guys to chase this, as you said.
Right.
And that's a significant drop off, too.
Sure.
Getting that there.
And he had so much confidence in the secondary pitches too, to where, you know, if it didn't matter the count, 2-0, 3-1. I mean, he'd go soft. I mean, it was rare that he'd throw a fastball in a fastball count, and he'd still get guys swinging, weak contact or missing, or he'd throw it for strikes when he wanted to.
Soft ground ball, and Liriano's going to go a long way. He's not going to get there.
That's an instance where the shift ends up costing you. Almora, just a little tapper, and Jaso had to vacate. There's no other infielder on that side, as you can see Jay on the left field side. And Liriano, as he often does, it's always going to be tougher for him to cover first than most because he falls off the mound so much to the third base side. And so just a slow developing play and good enough speed from Almora.
And so a couple of infield hits, the home run by Caesar. 2-0 Chicago in the first. Javi Baez. Almora in his first week in the big leagues. Cubs calling up a catcher today, Wilson Contreras, not in the starting lineup, but the Cubs, Baez, a lot of guys, in fact 9 of their 25 are 26 or younger. So even though they've been winning a lot of games, they've been doing a lot of it either from complementary pieces who are young or some of their more key personnel. Anthony Rizzo seems like he's been around forever. He's 26.
Yeah, he and Hayward both. Hayward just 26.
Almora will scoot into second. Wild pitch.
Backdoor slider. Chris Stewart tries to pick it. Comes up. Kicks far enough away.
Two outs, trying to keep it at 2-0 here in the first. Baez has been interesting because he was a highly touted shortstop, and you know, where are you going to put him? You got Starlin Castro, you know, a couple of years ago, and ended up coming up and struck out a ton. And last year, a very tumultuous year for him. Ended up making his way back to the major leagues by the end of the year, and now a super utility guy. Playing all over the place. And usually you think of that as a guy at the end of his career. He's just starting. He's 23.
And the swing has shortened up significantly. I almost wonder if it was kind of like a lesson. They bring him up and he was just, man, I mean, you could throw the ball anywhere. He was swinging and it was out of control. Almost like falling down, swing and miss. So he had to clean that up.
Works the walk there. So for Liriano, this is turning into a long first inning. He's thrown 20 pitches, as Arrieta did at the top of the first, but he sent down the sign in order.
And you have to wonder, you know, with the numbers where Liriano is, you know, with now the ERA over 5 and he's been getting hit, more hits than innings pitched, it has to affect your confidence, even for a veteran like Francisco Liriano. I mentioned it before. I mean, it was common, not just odd, but common that Liriano would go with an off-speed pitch when he was behind the count. And now trying to locate the fastball behind the count. I mean, it was rare to see a fastball from him the last couple of years. 2-0, 3-1, because he knew he could throw the off-speed stuff in there for strikes, or maybe just miss and get swings.
You just said that the more hits than innings. which usually isn't much of an indicator. You know, have fewer hits than innings. Some pitchers do. Some, you know, like Colon last night, he pitches to contact. You wouldn't think anything of it. But Liriano has not had that in his career since 2009, where he's had more hits than innings. And that's the kind of pitcher we think of him as. You know, very few hits, high strikeouts, high walks. They're higher than usual this year. It's a career high walks per 9, but still, yeah. You know, if you just look at numbers, that's kind of what you're used to seeing from Liriano.
You get a decent indicator of a pitcher when you just, if you never saw him live pitch, you just, you know, look at the numbers, look at the hits per innings and the strikeouts. You have an idea what kind of arm he has.
A pair of strikeouts in the inning, but a pair of runs on the home run by Matt Caesar.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the all-new Chevy Cruze and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. Our service centers are now open evenings and weekends. Visit barrelservice.com for more. Let's go Bucks!
And a look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders. Teams with the highest on-base percentage when leading off an inning. The Cubs. And the Pirates right there as well. So, and 4 teams in the division out of the top 5 in baseball for that matter. So getting that leadoff man on and make that pitcher have to work a little bit.
Yeah, I hope that do it more often than others, that you can chase him around.
David Freese been getting on base at a 370 clip this year. Getting at 292. He has been a very nice find. Saw him play a little second base yesterday, first and second.
Yeah. Good enough athlete. Sure, you could throw him in the outfield, he'd be fine there.
And has hit well, even though irregular playing time since Jung Ho-Gung has been back.
Which I would think would be harder for a guy that's played regularly like Freese than anybody else. I mean, he's used to being in the lineup every day, and so, you know, when you're taking out of the lineup and maybe getting a start or 2 a week, usually veteran guys struggle with that. Not used to it.
Clint Hurdle, I think it was done a pretty good job with keeping a lot of these quote-unquote bench guys, blurring the lines a little bit, getting them in the lineup. I just looked at Freese's 7th on the team in at-bats, so some of that is, of course, from April and early May, but still getting the opportunity. Going over to Zobrist. Freese is out.
And again, I'm not a guy that likes to talk about a guy running hard through the bag, but Freese does it all the time, and I admire it. A guy that's been around. Saw it last night, routine ball, going hard through the bag. That play, just a little bit of a bobble and a half a step from beating it. And I think that example needs to be followed, because far too often we just see it kind of give up and trot down the line. Doubles turned into singles because guys are trotting down the lines.
That choice. Check to swing, says De Jesus. Starling Marte not in there again today. Remember, got hit on a bouncing ball trying to field a ball in left field. Hit beneath the left eye. Caught part of the cheek, the nose. Assumedly was not available yesterday. Didn't see him in the game.
Well, you mentioned Clint Hurdle and getting the bench guys at bats, and this is an opportunity for Joyce, and he's the one guy that's been difficult. It's been hard to find him consistent at bats. Being an outfielder, and with 3 outfielders the Pirates have, harder to get him in the lineup. Pretty remarkable. I mean, you look at the stat line. Sean Rodriguez, another guy that 114 at bats. Joyce just 88. But 7 homers, 23 RBIs.
Now, he's been very effective. Slugging over 600. He's got 100 plate appearances. You take that number, he's #1 in all of the National League in slugging. Jung Ho Kang's #2.
Yeah, you look at the body of work those two guys have done. Just under 200 at bats combined, and 16 home runs, 48 RBIs between the two.
Yeah, that'd be an all-star, right?
Oh yeah, no question.
Joyce down on strikes. Well, 5 batters in, 31 pitches for Arrieta. You can cheer on your Bucks with a free shirt Friday coming up a week from today when the Pirates host the Dodgers at 7:05. If you're one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates, you receive this free Jung Ho Kang t-shirt. That one looks cool. It's presented by AAA Auto Insurance. You get your tickets at pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Nice looking shirt for that gentleman as well. Jung Ho Kang not in the starting lineup today. He and Marte enjoying the bright sunshine. Not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful afternoon. Wind blowing in today here at Wrigley. At times gusting, pretty much a steady breeze.
For the Windy City, that's just a little breeze.
Yeah, it's not. It's the breezy city today. Now strike in there. This nice hazy sun all day today. The temperature is going to crawl into the 80s, it looks like. Not too humid. Harrison staying alive. Now, I'm looking at a silver lining here. First time around in the order. Look at the Arrieta's at 35 pitches. Now, he is not allowed a base runner. But you start getting that pitch count up, and if the Pirates can go through one turn in the order and do that, by the time we get to the 3rd time around in the order, he might be running out of gas. He struck out 3 and retired the first 6. The 36 pitch couple of innings for Arrieta. for a new Inside Pirates Baseball. We'll break down the Buccos lineup that received rave reviews but never hit the field, and how Mark Melanson formed a friendship with a catcher on an opposing team, and always much more on Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network. Today, after postgame, right here on Root Sports. On the UPMC scoreboard, 2-0 Cubs. Jameson Taillon in the center there. He will get the start Sunday night against these Cubs here at Wrigley Field. Storied Wrigley. Sunday night game against a team with the best record in baseball. Fascinating to see that matchup. You know, he faced the Mets twice, right? You see the same team again, and he comes back and responds with such a brilliant outing in that second start.
It was outstanding. And always neat to come to Wrigley for the first time and play here. And obviously, since you can remember and you start watching baseball, you see Wrigley, and it's so unique. And get into the clubhouse and walk through the tunnels and
the catacombs.
Yeah, and hear about all the bleacher bums, and just a neat place.
They had a poster in the booth at Citi Field that had all the ballparks from 1986, which coincidentally was pretty much the first year I really got into baseball. And there's 6 parks left from, really, if you want to take it out to 1990. In 1990, there are 6 parks that were played during that season that are still in use today in Major League Baseball. 6. So, you know, Wrigley being one of those 6. Guys growing up seeing it.
Unfortunately, you come here 5, 10, 15, 20 times, and it kind of loses its charm a little bit. And it kind of looks like it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
First 2 men down by Liriano here in the second. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. It delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live at HD on more than 400 supported devices, and it includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Fowler in an infield single, the first pitch he saw. Scored ahead of the Caesar home run, the lone scoring so far. That one's caught by Harrison, and Liriano rebounds nicely for a quick inning. 2-0 Cubs as we go to the third. And so far, the Cubs have had the number of the Pirates. Though the Pirates won the last meeting between these two teams, the Cubs winning the first 5.
Yeah, it's rough so far for the Bucks, but still a lot of games left between these two clubs. A lot of game left here this afternoon.
Nice rebound for Liriano, an 8-pitch, 1-2-3 second inning. And Arrieta had 36 pitches, even though he's retired the 6 men he's faced. So maybe about a third of the way through his day already, even though he hasn't allowed a base runner.
Well, complete game back in April. He threw 119 pitches.
Now ahead of Jordy Mercer.
It's weird. Sometimes he'll get a ton of strikeouts. Like there's been a couple of starts ago, we mentioned 5 innings, 12 strikeouts. His last start, he only struck out 3 Braves in 7 innings.
We're trying to move along the order a little bit.
Going through some sort of scouting report, I guess. Mike Porcello.
With the newest catcher of the Cubs. That one's going to sneak through. Base hit. Jordy Mercer leading off third, and the Pirates have their first base runner. Chris Stewart back in the lineup. That's good to see, as he is every sort of malady, you know, a bump here, there, and everywhere. Then the hit with a bat on a backswing in the jaw, hit in both arms with pitches, one as a batter, one while he was catching. Fouling the ball off both feet, ankles. Needed a day or two for the body to mend. And he's in there along with Eric Kratz. Those two splitting time, while Francisco Cervelli, he's on the shelf. Now 2 balls and a strike on Stewart.
You think that he does have good stuff. You know, he has swing and miss stuff, but you want to create opportunities, and you start thinking here maybe a good opportunity to start a runner. You know you're going to get a fastball, have Stewart put it in play. Maybe you find a hole. You have a first and third situation.
Mercer running on the pitch, and that's down for a hit. He'll scramble to third. And the Pirates with men on the corners and nobody out.
You know, that's what you have to do against a guy like Arrieta. You don't know how many opportunities you're going to get. And so Chris Stewart shortens up, puts the barrel to it. Mercer looks in, sees where it's hit, realizes it's going down. So first and third, nobody out. Liriano. This will be interesting to see what Clint Hurdle decides to do. Liriano has swung the bat extremely well. You can also bunt him and get both runners in scoring position, but you wonder, you know, the way he swings the bat, why give them an out?
Liriano hitting at 320. That isn't luck when you get to 320 with extra base hits as well. He's got 1 double. And 4 RBIs. I mean, shoot, you know, loft a fly ball, get the Bucks on the board. Trying to do that there. This one will twist into the walkway.
Just put the ball in play. Good chance that you bring one home. They're going to concede the run and go for two most likely. The corners are in, and they were in, well, for Rizzo because he's holding on the runner. The third baseman Baez, just in case the Pirates decide to bunt. But still, a ground ball. They'll trade a run for 2 outs. And Arrieta, he wants to get the strikeout. And that slider running in on Liriano opens up and fouls it off the foot.
That's a pitch that a pitcher doesn't usually make contact with.
Now that's a tough pitch. I mean, and he throws again hard. It's heavy, and then he throws that slider in that same area, and you're geared up, ready to go. And
went off speed that time and got his man.
That curveball of his has been pretty much unhittable. The league hitting just 109 against him, and yeah, that's a pitch that he doesn't throw a whole bunch, maybe a dozen or so a game, but that's why he throws it. He throws it to finish, to get the strikeout, to get the chase.
This will be his 50th pitch with 1 out in the 3rd. And the Pirates threatening with Jaso at the bat. Jordy Mercer leading off the inning with a base hit. And with Mercer running, Stewart singled up the middle. Jaso worked an 8-pitch at bat before striking out looking in first. It's called a strike. Those opposing batting averages aren't too promising.
Yeah, it's remarkable. There are guys that, certain pitches they have are hard to hit, but you rarely find any starting pitcher that keeps opponents under 200 with everything they have.
Worse and worser. But the Pirates here with a chance. Jaso's been a little reticent to pull the trigger here today.
That fastball there, is the one. It's up in the zone. It's out over the plate. He missed location. He will, at times, make mistakes. And again, he was wanting it in, but the top of the zone, tough to get on top of. And that's a breaking ball, top of the zone. Again, not where he wanted to leave it.
Runners at the corners with 1 out. Did he hold?
Yes.
Now it's even. Cubs got there too on a Matt Caesar home run in the first. Pirates, after working several counts, getting Arrieta's pitch count up, but he had not allowed a base runner until Mercer led off the inning with a single. Stewart followed with Mercer running. Now the 2-2. Full up now on Jaso.
That's a tough one to lay off of. That's a tough one to recognize. The slider spin. If you don't pick up the spin, it's a pitch you end up tying yourself up on. Your W.B. Mason strike zone has that right on the corner. And Jaso gets the call. See all of
around the zone, not in it. And there finishes the slider down and in this time.
Jaso's seen 15 pitches, but he struck out twice.
And again, perhaps not picking up the spin, expecting the fastball, doesn't get it, gets the slider. A bit out in front and over top.
And if he takes it, it might have been a strike anyway. Polanco flat out his first trip. Pirates had runners at the corners with nobody out, now 2 away. Polanco, who leads the club in runs batted in, has not fared great with runners in scoring position at 2 outs, though. He's just 3 for 24. That number could be higher in these types of situations. Trying to get something for Francisco Liriano, who had an 8-pitch 1-2-3 second inning. Polanco moving up to that number 2 spot in the order. Just the other day, McCutchen flip-flopping with him, so back to his familiar 3 spot. If Polanco can extend the inning, McCutchen is next.
Running up and away. Fans will start getting into it now. I mean, another thing that makes him so good is when he needs to get the strikeout, he needs to turn it up a notch. It's in there.
He's already struck out 6 today. Montero wants a moment.
He has such great confidence in throwing that slider into left-handed batters, and especially with a runner on first, because if you happen to leave it out over the plate, that's a prime pitch to hit through that hole on the right side with Rizzo holding the base runner on. But he's been so good at getting it in, where it's, even if you swing and hit it hard, chances are, because it's running in on you, kind of like a cutter, you're probably going to pull it foul.
7 strikeouts for Arrieta. He fans 3 in a row after the leadoff pair of singles, and it remains 2-0 Chicago.
Gregory Polanco and the Pirates down 2-0 on Robbie and Smikowski. Gregory Polanco being saluted tonight a few hours east of Pittsburgh with his own bobblehead. It's Salute to Coffee Night with the Altoona Curve at First Energy Stadium, or People's Natural Gas Park, excuse me. And it's the L Coffee bobblehead with Gregory Polanco dressed up as a barista. How about that in terms of creativity? Big props go out to Rob Egan and Trey Wilson, the rest of the gang with the Altoona Curve. First 1,500 fans going to do it. I've yet to give one to Gregory, but he knew that they were doing it, and I think he's going to be pretty impressed when I put this in his locker after the ball game, Joe and Greg. The Gregory L Coffee Polanco bobblehead doll.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out to Altoona. I haven't been there yet, but I actually met Trey Wilson, their broadcaster here at Wrigley last year, I believe, and Rob Egan, their great general manager there, known for some time.
How often do you and Greg work together, by the way?
He said Greg, yeah. I don't know what's worse is he said that your name is Greg, or I didn't hear that his name.
There's Bob.
Yeah.
Bob and John.
Okay.
Over there.
All right. There's.
Well,
Steven.
I think part of it is that I did not have my morning coffee. You look nothing like Greg Brown. You're both play-by-play guys, Joe and Greg, and Rock. Please accept my sincerest apologies. I will never, ever, ever call you Greg Brown, although many people would say that is a compliment.
That is a great compliment. I would love that.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
You need the barista to make you up something, Robbie.
Wake up, Robbie. It's okay.
Some espresso from that bobblehead. That'd be great if you could actually drink coffee from the bobblehead. Go a step further, right?
No.
You don't want to drink
not right.
Coffee from porcelain? That's what that's what a coffee cup is, right? Same thing. Isn't that what they make that
I like
stuff
a
on?
big cup of coffee, big, hearty. Not into the thing. What is it that they put in the little cups?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all in a bobblehead. That's probably all you could fit is some espresso. I don't think I could ever have espresso. I'd probably run right through a wall or something. So probably better that they don't make it that way.
Pretty cool stuff goes on up in Altoona, by the way. Their giveaways and their promotional nights.
Hey, pretty soon they'll be making an Austin Meadows bobblehead the way that he's hit. Been fun to follow his exploits. 24-game hitting streak. Homered yesterday. Talented outfielder. And Zobrist working to count full with one out.
Have you never been to Altoona?
No, I haven't.
Wow, beautiful ballpark.
Yeah, I never worked in the Eastern
place.
League, so I didn't have a chance to go through there. And then I haven't been to the new ballpark at Charleston either. Been to old Watt Powell Park though, back in the day. Comes back to strike out Ben Zobrist. And you can head to PNC Park on your lunch break on Thursday. Into bobbleheads. How about a Garrett Cole bobblehead? As the Pirates will host the Giants at 12:35. If you're one of the first 20,000 fans, you get this beauty presented by Peoples. Go to pirates.com, get your tickets. Garrett Cole still on the disabled list, but the bobblehead still very much functioning and ready for display in your home. Work.
Hopefully we'll see Garrett shortly after that night. Back on the mound.
Rizzo, a strikeout victim back at the first. Liriano has fanned 5. Gets a strike there. So, okay, 2 pitches into the game, gives up a 2-run home run to Caesar, and since then, an infield hit, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. And that one getting Rizzo up in the head.
Rizzo hit for the 10th time. A guy that gets right up on the plate. See there, his back foot.
Oh, I got him in the back. I beg your pardon. No wonder he was able to go so quickly to first. Good thing. Albert Almora. Had that infield hit back at the first. Rizzo's a regular Ron Hunt or Don Baylor.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable. You know, I'm sure he's used to. He gets hit a bunch, and he's used to it. And he's on the plate, and he realizes he's going to get hit. I mean, I'm sure like pitches that end up around that area, the neck and head. And I mean, obviously, is a little scary, but I mean, obviously, if he was really worried about getting hit with pitches, he wouldn't stand so close to the plate. I think it's just he realizes it's part of it. Pitchers are going to try to pitch him in because he's so close to the plate.
Got hit 30 times last year. That led all the baseball. Jung Ho Gung, also one of those guys that likes to get up on the plate. Tomczyk with Garrett Cole. One, two, and he struck him out. So Liriano has struck out 6 Cubs, including 3 in the third, and the fourth coming up with the Cubs on top 2-0. Take a look at our day automotive this day in Pirates history. 7 years ago, Pirates beating the Twins 8-2 in the Metrodome. Yes, the Metrodome. And who did Andrew McCutchen hit his first career home run off of? His teammate Francisco Liriano. And Adam and Andy LaRoche also homering in that game. First pair of brothers to homer in the game since the Wainers. Lil Poison, Lloyd Wainer, Big Poison, Paul Wainer, back in 1938. So a memorable event for McCutchen. Many, many more since then, including one last night. Trying to get the better of Arrieta. And 1 pitch and 1 out for Arrieta, who, despite keeping the Pirates off the scoreboard, needed 60 pitches to get through those first 3 innings.
Everybody had to wonder. I'm sure a lot of folks were wondering after Rizzo got hit in the back whether or not there'd be any retaliation from Arrieta to McCutchen there leading off his 4th inning, but obviously Andrew up there, he wasn't expecting it. He was ready to swing the bat.
Netting keeps that bat on the field.
Thank goodness.
Uh-oh.
It's hard to explain sometimes. It just happens. It doesn't happen very often.
Oh, and has some English on it. And still able to get David Freese. It kind of skipped through the mound on Arrieta, but it ended up being an easier play for Zobrist.
Bang bang play down there at first.
When a ball's spinning like that, when it gets into your glove, is it still spinning sometimes in your glove a little bit when you bring it up?
Hope not. I mean, if you catch it clean, it's going to stop. But every now and again, if it gets into the web, it might move a little bit. Infielders are such creatures of habit, and they take so many ground balls on a daily basis that it might be hard to believe, but the majority of them catch it in the same spot of the glove every time they catch a ground ball, and so they know exactly. Their hands used to catching it, or hands used to reaching in and grabbing it in the same way. They line up the seams as they step and throw. That's whenever you see an infielder maybe double clutch, go into the glove more than once, it's because the ball's typically not in the area they're used to catching it in. It's maybe in the web, or most infielders, I would say almost maybe every infielder, nobody catches a ground ball in the web. It's always in the palm or in the, on the index finger, kind of where your index finger is for some, and in the web it's sometimes hard to find.
Is that why infielders' gloves are usually so much shorter than, say, first base or outfield?
Yeah, it's pretty much. You don't want the ball swimming around in the web, and for that matter, it's pretty rare, I think, for infielders to catch the ball in the webbing. They almost always catch it in the pocket, in the palm.
So Arrieta registering the strikeout to end the inning. He's fanned 8 Pirates. And needed just 9 pitches to navigate the 4th.
It's time for the Toyota RAV 4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV Hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
Last of the 4th from Wrigley. Matt Caesar with a 2-run home run, 2 pitches into the game. That's been the difference so far. Jake Arrieta has He's allowed 2 singles. He struck out 8 Pirates through 4 scoreless. And Francisco Liriano rebounding after that home run. He's given up just 1 hit since then. And has struck out a half dozen. Are we seeing a better Francisco Liriano today so far?
Since the first, yeah. I mean, first couple of pitches of the game, you had the bouncer that went off of Freeze's glove for a hit, and then the fastball down the middle to Caesar. But since then, yeah, we've seen the swing and miss. We've seen the soft contact. Better command, better movement.
Some of the things you're talking about, looking for today.
And that fastball there, and perhaps just a show me pitch, try to speed up the bat to set up something off speed.
Time with a fastball, but now full 3-2.
No surprise there, goes to the breaking ball, 3-2. Baez out in front.
Addison Russell to follow. And then Montero due up with 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Fouled off his foot. Get him.
Missed the shin guard.
Somehow got him inside the leg there. Usually you see it come down on that foot, but Baez will need a moment. He's been the only batter that Liriano has walked today, of all ironies, with Baez only drawing 3 walks coming in. One of the freest of free swingers. And he'll have extra bases.
Looked like he went to the slider again. This one he left right down the middle. And maybe, I'm not sure if he was trying to backdoor it or a little bit up. When you hit a ball hard, you forget the pain.
7th double for Baez. So now Addison Russell, who struck out against Liriano back in the first. '22-year-old shortstop. Already in his 2nd big league season.
He's the guy that seemed hurt the Pirates the last time we were in town. Had a big series. A couple of homers.
Now 3-1, so a couple of 3-ball counts to each batter from Liriano. We're seeing him work ahead of hitters prior to this inning. Also homered off Jeff Locke in that series. forcing Baez back to the bag and getting the out. So one away, and Baez remains there. Russell also home run off Liriano and a 3-run home run in the Friday game of that weekend series about a month ago. They got the misters for that mister. He's got his own cooling agent in hand as well.
Not that hot. It's actually very nice, comfortable.
It was 72 at game time. It's probably gotten up to about 80, I'd guess, right? Perfect day. Baez will move on to third, and Montero is the second out. Liriano rebounding nicely after that leadoff double. Going to try to strand him here. And as we noted coming in, neither pitcher gets to relax against his opposite number today.
Yeah, Liriano wants to be in a home run derby.
An average of 267. He's got one home run. I thought Buster Olney came up with a pretty good idea. ESPN writer, who I believe will be here this weekend, but he had the idea that the pitchers could each do a round and see how far they would advance. So, you know, if the pitcher in the first round was good enough to advance, then a different pitcher would take the next set of cuts. So that way you don't have a guy really, you know, overexerting himself in a home run derby who's not used to it. But boy, that would create an interesting scene if a pitcher ended up advancing even beyond the first round.
Pitcher shouldn't be in the home run derby, Joe.
I understand that, but if you ask pitchers.
Oh yeah, you can ask pitchers, and then maybe in the off season they can go and run out of ballpark and have their own little derby. Maybe they can get somebody to sponsor it and televise it for them. But it's, I don't think their managers, their pitching coaches, their general managers, I don't think any of them want to see that. They're paid to pitch.
Don't tell these guys they've hit home runs. There's a strike down area at a third 3-ball count in the inning from Liriano. Well, Madison Bumgarner's on a stretch where he's out hitting some of the best home run hitters over the last 200 plate appearances or so.
I'm sure there's position players that probably would like to pitch and show their skills on the mound, and well, for that matter, I'm sure bench players would like to be involved in the home run derby. I mean, a lot of people would like to be in home run derbies. The local beer league softball guys would like to be in the home run derby.
Those are fun when they have those before the games, aren't they? Liriano missing that borderline 3-1 on Arrieta.
The only guy that really likes the idea is Bob Watt. Bob Watt loves the idea. He said that's the only way he'd ever watch a home run derby.
And I think a lot of people might want to watch it because of that. I think I would too. And that's the bottom line. Ball one to Fowler. So first and third now with 2 away. And to work around that leadoff double by Baez. He stands at third. Jake Arrieta working the walk. Laid off now, 2-1 to Fowler. Infield hit and line down. Now 3-1, and Arrieta is going to move into second base. Maybe a pass ball on Stewart.
Situation there where the runner Baez just didn't get a good enough jump. You'll see it here. That ball's he's going back towards third. So once you cross over and head back towards the bag, you can't try to score on that
pass ball for Stewart. And now the 4th 3-ball count in this inning from Liriano. With Matt Caesar on deck, he homered back in the 1st. And another walk. So back-to-back walks to Arrieta, the pitcher, and then the Fowler. And what looked to be a fairly innocuous inning now with the bases loaded. Caesar coming up and Ray Searage coming out.
Now you really hope that you shut down the inning after the leadoff double. You get Russell and Montero, and then the pitcher Arrieta's up. And again, I know he has good numbers, but he's still a pitcher. And, still nobody scoring here, so you still have a great opportunity to get out of it and still keep your team in the game.
Caesar been up and down from the minor leagues, although having a nice campaign in brief action with the Cubs. Time has run out. Ray Searage got to the mound with 17 seconds left on the clock, and so very brief time to chat there. Probably didn't like that 3-1 ball call on Arrieta as well. Now Caesar back in the 1st inning. 2nd pitch of the ball game. And the Pirates were behind 2-0. His 3rd home run. And in 1 pitch, Arrieta will get out of it. Ray Searage working his magic again. And Liriano stranding the bases loaded.
Total Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, and by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
5th inning on its way. It's 2-0 Chicago. And Matt Caesar with a 1st inning home run. The difference so far, both pitchers, when they've got into jams, have worked their way out of it. Always sun safe. Always promoting sun safety here on the Pirates telecast. At least when I'm aboard, I'm as tan as a sheet of paper. So I'm gonna make sure pass that reminder along to you. Josh Harrison struck out back of the 2nd. Little flare into deep left center, but Fowler takes care of it.
Just got in on him just enough. Didn't quite get extended.
Still only 2 base runners against Arrieta. How do you hit this guy, right?
He's tough to hit. And it's hard to bunch hits for sure.
Mercer with the first hit, leading off the 3rd inning. And when he was on the move, Stewart moved him to 3rd, and with nobody out, that's as far as they got. Arrieta then struck out the next 3 men. A couple of strikeout artists here today, with Liriano with 6, Arrieta with 8. One byproduct of that, moves the pitch counts up.
Yep.
You've seen that for both men, both at 74 at the moment.
One thing about Arrieta, I mean, for the most part, to right-handed batters, the fastball is away, and he keeps it away. And an occasional miss up, but he doesn't miss middle very often. Good slider there. Good job of fouling it off by Mercer.
I heard you say in the pregame, kind of abandon the middle part of, or the inner part of the plate, and just.
As a right-hander, I think it only will help you if you don't look middle in, look middle away. Good chance that you'll see a fastball on the outer half.
Oh, and almost hitting him.
And a rare time he comes in to Jordy. And
but coming in way off the plate, a pitcher not going to hit anyway, right?
Well, I don't know if he meant to come that far in. It obviously hits the bat. Jordy Mercer, as a hitter, umpires a lot of times on that ball, they'll react on the hitter's reaction. If the hitter reacts, ouch, they'll say take your base. If the hitter doesn't react, like Jordy there, it was obvious it hit the bat. But if you're looking away against Arrieta, and again, if he pitches in, sometimes you would have to tip your hat. It's so much easier said than done because he throws hard enough to where hitters don't want to get jammed, and they're always worried about getting the barrel out. But the curveball, the slider, if you're looking outer half, it's easier to stay back, recognize, see, and maybe hit the mistake breaking ball if you're looking away. If you're looking in and he throws the breaking ball, chances are you're going to be out front, especially if he's able to locate it on the outer part of the plate. But if you look away for the fastball, where he throws the majority of his fastballs to right-handed hitters, I think it'll help you recognize and have a chance against the curveball and the slider. But you are going to get a fastball away to hit.
Mercer strikes out, but he extracts another 8 pitches from Arrieta. 9 Ks for Jake Arrieta.
And again, a lot easier said than done. And there, that pitch out of nowhere has an unbelievable downward movement. You see some tail to his fastball. You don't typically see the downward movement on his fastball.
And that had a ton of sink on it. He's tough. For Stewart on the first pitch, that ends the inning. Arrieta has sent down 9 in a row. In the bottom of the 5th on its way here in Chicago.
Well, the Pirates trail 2-0 here as we hit the bottom half of inning number 5. That's Francisco Cervelli. You see the cast on his left hand. He rejoined the team today in Chicago for the first time since undergoing hamate bone surgery. He's wearing the soft cast. That's going to be about 10 days. He did some light working out today. The full workouts will begin tomorrow for Francisco Cervelli. And when he was discussing the injury, one word he used to describe how he feels is embarrassed. He broke the hamate bone right there in a swing. He said everything was fine. The hand felt great. He just swung and boom, it broke just like that. Now back to the embarrassed thing. That's the word he used to describe how he feels, he said, because the Pirates have shown so much confidence in him, in making him their primary catcher, in giving him the contract extension. Then a freak injury like this happens. He said he's embarrassed. He wants to get back as quick as he possibly can, and he's going to resume the workouts like we said today/tomorrow to get everything going, and hopefully he returns sooner rather than later from the broken hamate bone, guys.
Thanks for that update, Robbie. Yeah, it was good to see him this morning. Teammates on the bus were surprised to see him and delighted to see him. Always a pleasant presence. But, you know, throughout his career prior to last season, Cervelli very much always known for not being able to stay healthy all the time. And maybe that's why he feels that way.
I mean, it has to be frustrating. You know, you have that label, that tag, and then you lose it after having a great year last year and you stayed relatively healthy.
Out to right and one away. Yeah, he's had some weird injuries too. I mean, he had a foul tip that fractured his knuckle. He had a broken wrist on a home plate collision back when those were a thing. Hamstring that required an extended period of time, broken foot, concussions. That was all in the past with the Yankees. And he had really had a nice, clean, healthy season last year.
Injuries are injuries. You can't help it. And no reason to be embarrassed. I mean, it wasn't like he come in ill-prepared or wasn't ready or whatever. As Rizzo, now unhappy, now showing emotion, is started his hands forward. Looked like it hit him in his left forearm. But, you know, you can't be surprised about him being hit with pitches. I mean, he is literally, his back foot is maybe an inch from the front of the batter's box.
He's been hit 11 times now, and Clint Hurdle discussing with Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, just making sure, hey, we're not trying to do anything here. I mean, Rizzo leads baseball in hit by pitches now, so
I'm wondering if he was wanting them to check the swing. That's the only thing that makes sense as to why he would go out there is you know, did he swing? As you see, the hands will start forward. And boy, that ball looked like him maybe from the left forearm to the chest.
I should correct myself. Brandon Guyer of the Rays has been hit more often, but he leads the National League.
And you see there, nowhere close to a swing.
Yeah, if a batter swings and they're hit with a pitch, it's a strike. So definitely worth talking about. Two 2-0 on Almora. And 3-0. Liriano going 3 balls on 4 hitters in that 4th inning. Overall today has thrown nearly as many balls as strikes. 4-pitch walk. 4th base on balls issued today. None yet have come around to score, though. 2 on with 1 out, and Javi Baez, who's been on both times, coming up. And activity is Jared Hughes getting up. you can hear it, but Baez coming up to the song Informer by Snow. One-hit wonder from the 90s. Got to point out the 90s hip hop whenever I can.
Oh, I was wondering where you're going. I thought there was something more to that.
No.
No?
There's much less to that, in fact. So 2 men aboard. Cubs getting 2 runs on the second pitch of the game. Matt Caesar with a home run. That's been it for the whole ball game so far. Baez trying to change that, but he got underneath. And McCutcheon calls off Polanco. That's out number 2. Well, Liriano's been in a little bit of jams here with 2 men on in 3 separate innings since the home run, but more bases loaded last inning, but been able to get out of it so far since then.
It's always nice when you're struggling with your command, and there are some young guys in this lineup, as you mentioned, and if you do get into some trouble, you're more likely to get some help from a young guy up there being aggressive and hitting your pitch. It happened to end the bottom of the 4th inning when Caesar came up and hit a pitch that was well off the plate, ended the inning on a weak ground ball, and Baez with some help there, popping up on the first pitch.
Now Russell, who's 0 for 2. And now 0 and 2. Liriano's spot leads off the 6th. And 88 pitches. 0-2. This one is going to get into seats. Let's see what happened after this last pitch.
And it goes down a little bit. Maybe just hit a little divot with that right foot.
Please replace your divots. Ball and 2 strikes on Russell. That's the landing area. No swing. I would think Liriano and Arrieta have some much different landing spots out there.
Yeah, and yeah, you can see there no offer. If Arrieta didn't throw across his body so much, they'd probably be landing about in the same spot. Liriano stands on that third base side of the pitching rubber.
Another 3-ball count. Liriano's been walking the tightrope. Make another pitch, and that might be his afternoon, but if it is, he's definitely kept the Pirates in the ball game today. Cracked but foul.
Another breaking ball. This one left up. Russell probably expecting fastball, pulling the trigger a little early. Mariano again, maybe not liking the way that front foot's landing.
3-2. And with the runners on the move, ball 4. Liriano has walked 5. And as I detailed a moment ago, none have come around to score yet. But you keep going that way and things can go badly. He's just not comfortable out there right now.
After the first 3-2 pitch, that Russell pulled foul. I think he tried to go away. I mean, it made sense to try to go down on the way to get Russell to roll over. He's having some issues, it seems like, locating to that arm side, the arm side of the plate. The outside part to righties, the inside part to Rizzo, where obviously we saw Rizzo getting hit with a couple of pitches on that side.
Well, Ray Searage came out after Liriano had walked a pair of men to load the bases in the fourth. And on the next pitch, he got Caesar to ground out. Now Montero. Trying to keep this one at 2-0. Montero 0 for 2 today at 206 overall. Bases full of Cubs, a hit batter and 2 walks. Will it stay in play? No. Into the seats.
Interesting to see what the Cubs do here with Montero now that they called up Contreras. And they got Lester's personal catcher, David Ross.
0-2 again. Hit to right. Got Polanco there. And the inning ends. So despite the hit batter and 2 walks, 3 left stranded for the Cubs. Francisco Liriano walked 5, but stranded them all. Now let's look at some Point Park tweets. And Victor coming all the way in from Allison Park. And with the family here, taking a ball game at Wrigley Field. Liam here at the game. Taking in the back seats there. In the lower seating section here at Wrigley. Some people with not knowing who they want to cheer for today. Those guys got it right. Okay, so Liriano's going to hit here. I'm thinking, well, with the Pirates having a short bench, right, with Marte maybe banged up. Liriano hasn't swung the bat badly this year, even if he doesn't stay in. And so 1 pitch, 1 out. The Pirates, if Marte is unavailable, and we're not given word either way, the Pirates would only have 3 men on their bench for this game.
I would think if Clint Hurdle was going to remove Liriano from the game, there'd be a pinch hitter.
And with the team trailing.
So it appears Liriano's still in.
They had Jared Hughes warming, but now Hughes has sat down in the Pirates bullpen. Liriano has walked 4 in the last 2 innings combined. Stranded the bases loaded twice. And would have Arrieta leading off the 6th. Jaso has struck out both times today, but he has seen 15 pitches. In an effort, a joint effort, to get Arrieta out of this game a little sooner than he'd like. Now 3-1. Got to get some base runners though to extend those innings. The Pirates have only had 2. Back-to-back singles by Mercer and Stewart in the 3rd. That's been it.
And you see Montero there, 3-1 count and 2-run lead. Not messing around, setting up on an edge. He's set up right down the middle. They've been in on Jaso pretty much all day, and that one misses.
First walk issued by Arrieta. And use your Port Authority Connect card to save big on Pirates tickets this season, up to $8 per ticket on select Sunday through Thursday home games at PNC Park. Connect and save with the Port Authority Connect card. And get your tickets at pirates.com/Connect card. Some of them may be taking public transit here. That's also big in Chicago. Gregory Polanco 0 for 2.
Yeah, this is a hard place to get to and from. If you're going to drive, good luck finding parking.
Might have to take out a loan if you'd like to pay for that parking. If you want to park within, say, walking distance, you might need a ride from your parking place. But the Cubs are trying to change that. They're building some more parking around here. We're in the middle of a neighborhood. This park has been around for a century.
Buying up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so the L is the way to go if you're coming to visit. Like we saw some of the folks making their way in from Pittsburgh. But a great ballpark and a great venue to look around and see. One of a kind.
I'm a fan of the rooftop down the right field line. They still come and they still sit in those seats and stare at the back of a scoreboard.
Kind of like our last place in New York, the views from the hotel rooms. You just see another building and another building.
You see the scoreboard there? There's rooftop seating behind that. People are in those seats.
This has been going on around baseball forever. In those old ballparks, like this one, you know, a century ago, they would have wildcat seats that would, you know, fans would try to sneak in and take a peek at the action, and then the owners would get sick of it and they would build up the ballpark a little bit more, and then vice versa, until finally the ballpark was just too big and fans would give up. Well, that somehow has been going on for an extra 100 years here. Now full on Polanco. All sorts of views into the ball yard. Jaso running. And there's ball 4. So back-to-back walks from Arrieta. And then a 2-run game. And Andrew McCutcheon coming up. This is definitely Looks like the Pirates' best chance here today so far.
Aside from that third inning, they had the first and third nobody out situation, and Arrieta turned it up a notch and struck out the next 3 batters. But yeah, you like the idea with McCutchen with this opportunity here to come up big, come up clutch.
Chris Bosio, the Cubs pitching coach, wanted to talk shop here. Yeah, in that situation, nobody out here, 1 out. But also Liriano was to follow after the first 2 men were on, so now a better part of the lineup. McCutchen with 3 hits last night, including a home run. Today 0 for 2. Leading the ball club with 10 round trippers. Game could change with 1 flick of the wrists. Squirts away from Montero, and the runners move up.
And all you need now is a base hit. You don't need a gapper. With Polanco's speed at second, just about any base hit should be able to score him. As Montero deciding not to get down to try to block it. Tries to pick it. Never works out as well.
Jaso at third, Polanco with good speed at second. And now 2-0 on McCutchen.
Good take there. Good recognition. Saw the spin. Arrieta trying to get the swing and miss, trying to get the chase. Started in the zone, broke down and away. Now what?
3-0.
Arrieta being careful, not giving in. And again, that's a pretty good pitch, and it's a pretty good take. He's thinking that he might get a rollover there, starting at outer half.
Seeing a strike.
And not giving in with a fastball, just spins the breaking ball in there. 3-0.
Travis Wood getting up, lefty, starting to loosen. And that's ball 4, and the base is full of buccos. 3 straight walks from Arrieta.
Well, Andrew McCutchen thinking he was going to get an opportunity here to come up big, but the ball in dirt on the breaking ball. Guess what? Breaking ball, 2-0. Maybe I'll get a swing. 2-0 breaking ball. Ball 3. Flip one in there, 3-0. And missing 3-1. Arrieta staying away from Andrew McCutchen.
Now David Freese. And ball 1.
And that's a fastball. You don't see that very often. Arrieta's been pretty good with the fastball command, but this one he spikes it, and Montero able to somehow keep that from getting by him.
At the century mark now.
And Montero will go out to waste some time so they can get somebody loose in the bullpen.
Right-hander getting up quickly. We were hoping, that's Trevor Cahill loosening, we were hoping that earlier on in the game, even though the Pirates were having no success, that working those counts might help get that pitch count up, see him tire sometime before the 8th or 9th inning. And maybe some of that is showing itself here. 1-0. 2-0 on David Freese.
Well, it's almost certain that he's not going to pitch into the 7th. We'll see if we can get him out here in the 6th.
Jaso walked. He's at third. Polanco walked. He's at second. McCutchen walked. He's at first. And that almost hit him. So he's thrown 21 pitches in this inning. 15 have been out of the zone. You just don't see that from Arrieta.
No. Madden looking down towards his bullpen.
Maddening. The lefty is Clayton Richard, one-time Pirate. And there's a strike.
And as Madden was looking down there towards his bullpen, I'm wondering if there was a miscommunication with the left-hander Joyce due up next. He probably wanted Richard up as well, and he's looking down there not looking happy.
Bases loaded, one out, 3-1. And now full 3-2.
Pretty close pitch, maybe helping. One up in the zone. UPMC Sports Medicine Strike Zone says it's up and in.
Sellout crowd on their feet. Pirates trying to crack the scoreboard. And Freese spoils it. Bases loaded. And another 3-2. Tenth strikeout for Arrieta.
You know, the truly great pitchers, I think what makes them great and why their ERAs are under 2 in Arrieta's case is that when there is trouble, when he does get himself into trouble, the great pitchers, find a way to get the outs with runners in scoring position. You don't have an ERA under 2 by struggling in those situations.
Well, Joyce has been good in those situations. 6 for 12 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. That's where he is here. He struck out twice today. And he's down, strike 1.
I think Matt Joyce liked that call. Oh, that pitch up out of the zone.
Now even in the ball and a strike. Three straight walks from Arrieta prior to the strikeout by Freese. Low.
That was a little backdoor breaking ball and just down.
Two, 1 and ball 3.
And that's recognition, recognizing speed and spin. And you're almost certainly getting a fastball now with the bases full, you would think. As that pitch hit, you see the flight there. I mean, that pitch the entire distance looks like a strike to the very end.
Now full 3-2. Runners will be on the move. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 3-2. And he struck him out.
And lost the command for 3 batters and then found it when he needed to, throwing it right where he needed.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Strikes out Freese swinging, strikes out Joyce looking. He's fanned 11 today.
Puts this one right there, right where Montero wanted it. And you wonder, the 3-1 fastball looked like a pretty good pitch to hit, and whether or not Joyce perhaps looking away, maybe fooled by it a bit. No way he's taking all the way there 3-1. I mean, he's looking for a pitch to put a good swing on.
Well, the Pirates had a golden opportunity there. Francisco Liriano at 98 pitches. He's walked 5 today. We're going to face Chris Coughlin back with the Cubs after having been traded to the A's in the offseason and then back to the Cubs, where for the most part with Oakland had not fared well, but Cubs reacquiring him. And of course this is the first look from the Pirates at Coughlin after that since the end of last season, that is. And has a base hit into left, batting for Arrieta. And trying for 2, the throw not even close. A hustle double for Coughlin.
Gets a pitch out over the plate, hits it between Freese and the bag, and with Joyce coming up, didn't think for a moment that Coughlin would try for 2. A good throw gets him. But you see him going hard out of the box as soon as he hit it. No hesitation around first. Figured a good throw had to get him, and so worth the risk.
That went high and in, ball 1 to Fowler. So now activity again in the Pirates bullpen after Clint Hurdle electing to use Liriano here in the 6th. Popped him up. Medium center. Coughlin won't go anywhere. So 1 gone in the Cubs 6th. And just as a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Arrieta done after 6 innings today after he was lifted for Coughlin. 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, all in succession in that 6th. He struck out 11. And the Cubs bullpen in June, an ERA just a touch under 4, which isn't all that extraordinarily bad by any means. It's probably average, but it just gives you an idea. And it's probably better to face the Cubs bullpen than Jake Arrieta.
Arrieta is nothing but great last year.
Now 2 strikes. Liriano's highest pitch count was 109 this season. That was back in April. And it gets away from Stewart. It's a wild pitch. Now Coughlin 90 feet away with 1 out. And an important run here in a tight ball game.
Looks like I might have got a piece of Chris Stewart's bare hand.
I don't know if I've seen a guy get beat up so much in such a short period of time. Oh, look at that. Ends up hit him in the forearm or wrist area in the right arm. Infield is in. Not deep. And stays in the infield for the second out.
We talked so much about Jake Arrieta making big pitches when he's had to in this ball game to keep the Pirates off the scoreboard. A couple of jams he was in. Well, Liriano has done the same. Back in the first after the 2-run homer, he had 2 on, 2 out. Was able to get Addison Russell to strike out. Bases loaded back in the 4th, gets out of it. Bases loaded in the 5th. Able to make the big pitch and maybe doing it here again.
Zobrist 0 for 3. Yeah, in that 4th inning, also a leadoff double. So for Liriano, after the first 2 pitches of the game, he has shut out the Cubs too. Chicago coming in the 3rd best offense in baseball in terms of runs per game. Now 2-0, and it has not been a smooth afternoon for Liriano. Really, the only smooth innings he had, the second, maybe even the 3rd. 1, 2, 3 second, and then hit Rizzo in the 3rd behind 3 strikeouts. So now a season high pitch wise for Liriano. And the Cubs will get their 3rd run. .40 RBIs for Ben Zobrist, 3-0 Chicago.
What a good player, Ben Zobrist. Versatile, can play defense. Obviously can hit for power, and come through in the clutch.
So Liriano's day is done. 3-0 Cubs here in the 6th.
Telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
So Francisco Liriano, 5 2/3, permitted 6 hits and 3 runs, plus responsible for Zobrist at first. 5 walks, 6 Ks. Corey Lutke delivers a first pitch strike.
Bring the lefty in to face Rizzo. Rizzo hits just 195 against lefties. Lutke with 8 2/3 innings of work. It's not like, you know, you look at Corey Lutke and up and down here and pitching out of the pen. He really hasn't been that guy. I mean, he's obviously in now to face Rizzo, left-handed batter, but really hasn't been used in that role like you see on some teams where you just have a lefty specialist. Lutke, a former starter, has faced more righties than lefties. In fact, this is only the 13th batter Lutke has faced that hits left-handed.
Picking up for the lefty Liriano. Now 2-2. Yeah, Lutke's still trying to find a role. The Pirates had sent him back down for a little while, try to get him some reps. After missing 4 years trying to get healthy, now working as a reliever. Was a starting pitcher last time he was healthy in 12 with the Padres. Yeah, sometimes used mop-up duty or trying to bridge the middle innings. Here trying to get out one of the best lefty sluggers. This one will reach the seats. The Pirates in the top half of this inning had the bases loaded with 1 out. Arrieta struck out a pair to end it. The only other full house on the scoreboard there. 3 2s, 2 4s. And the only other time the Pirates had base runners today against Arrieta. First and third, nobody out in the third. He struck out all 3 men in that inning to get out of the jam. But he's done. So the Pirates will have to get through the Cubs bullpen and see what they can muster. And there goes.
Able to fight that one off. That fastball in on the hands. And we talked about it, you know, with Rizzo being hit twice, how close he is to the plate. And you wonder if you hit the inside corner against him, especially with a fastball, is he able to get the barrel to it? Is he able to keep it fair if he does get the barrel to it?
And he draws the walk. And moves Zobrist into second. And 2 men on with 2 outs, a run in.
And I think you find more often than not when guys are like that, I mean, there's not very many to the extreme of Rizzo that's on the plate that much. I think it's harder for pitchers to get actually to the inside part of the plate. You know, I thought he got jammed on a pitch that was in. It was actually on the outer third of the plate he got jammed on. You know, and you wonder if pitchers are able to consistently hit that inside corner with him just inches away, how they fare.
Albert Almora, 1 out of 2 today. Is it because they're a target? You know what I mean? You know, if you're practicing pitching, you got a guy standing in there, they stand in a certain spot, and then now that he's in a much different spot, so you know what I mean? Visually, you're throwing it a certain amount away from the batter.
Pitchers never look at the hitter when they're throwing. They look at unless they're throwing at him, they look at the catcher and they look at the glove. But maybe because he's on the dish like he is, that maybe it's something in their head that they're afraid to miss off and hitting him. I mean, I don't know exactly what goes through pitcher's head, but as Ray Miller goes out there, I'll look at or Ray Sears. Did I say Ray Miller?
What were you doing last night?
But if you look at inside pitches that are thrown to Anthony Rizzo so far this year, the pitches that are actually inside, he hits 139. He slugs 306.
It makes sense, right? You know, you want to come in on sluggers, but like you said, I bet you that's challenging unless you have really pinpoint command. And you're used to pitching inside.
And most major league pitchers have pinpoint command. But for whatever reason, I don't think they can get in there often enough.
It's 3-0 on Almora. And now Archimedes Caminero getting up right-hander. That one called a strike. Trying to keep this one close here in the 6th inning. And the Cubs are going to add another. Rizzo will move to third, and Almora in with a hustle double. 4-0 Chicago.
That'll close the book on Liriano as Zobrist comes around. Almora gets a pitch up and in, stays inside it, drives it into the gap. Which is obviously going to score Zobrist easily. And Matt Joyce goes over, tries to go to third, and not the right play. He goes to second. He probably holds Almora there, or at least may have a play. Had no play at third. Not sure if they gave him a double or not.
He wasn't stopping, so they do award him 2. Intentionally walking Baez here to get to Russell. Well, last night, you know, the starting pitcher did not have a good night. Nicasio giving up 6 runs, but the bullpen with Schugel, Feliz, and Hughes keeping that game right where it was at. And the Pirates at least brought the tying run up in the 9th, you know, gave him a chance to come back. Liriano with a decent start today. And if you get that same kind of results from your, you know, your guys in the back end of the bullpen, now the Pirates might be able to crawl back into this one. But now you don't get that here today, and it's now 4-0, and you got to try to keep it as close as you can here with 3 innings left to bat.
Anytime anytime that you are behind late in the game, your chances are minimal, even at 2 runs. When it goes to 3 and 4, it becomes almost impossible. The Cubs have lost 4 games, leading 3 games leading after 6. They're 40-3 when leading after 6, so it's certainly an uphill battle.
And that's like that for all teams. The Pirates are 28-2. So I mean, you know, just to underscore what you're saying, that you know, if you can't keep it as close as you can, you at least open a glimmer of hope.
You definitely don't want to give up any more once the starter comes out, especially when it's a 2-run game.
Well, if the base is full, there's nowhere to put Russell, and Lukey's fallen behind. Caminero ready if needed in the Pirates' pen. Got it over for a strike, now 2-2.
Figure unless Lukey has a lot of confidence in the breaking ball, he may go to a 3-2, but chances are Addison Russell's going to sit dead red fastball here.
Base is loaded, 2 outs, 2 runs in, 4-0 Chicago. And we'll do it again. Runners on the move, of course. Action count with 2 outs. And fouled it off again.
It seems like we've had a ton of these situations today.
Because they have
a ton of these bases loaded, full counts.
It seems like a waste. Try another 3-2. And he fouled it off again. Well, keeps coming with the fastball. Montero would be next if the inning prolongs. And that fastball from Lupke too. We were seeing, you know, touching 95 in spring training. So now 91 here at this point of the year.
Earlier in this inning, he got up to 94. But yeah, several here, 90, 91.
Ah, there's Peter Chase, one of the great media relations guys. Continues to
Traveling secretary, I thought. Could be wrong.
This one is yanked foul.
Went with the breaking ball on that 3-2 offering.
Keeps battling here on 3-2. And Lupke not giving in.
Another one. I don't know if I've ever seen a ball go into the press box. That's 2 and 1 at bat.
That one just down the row there. Look how close it was. Everyone knows what's coming.
Fans are having fun.
That's 7 balls in a row fouled off by Addison Russell. Lupke's got to throw him a 13th pitch of this at bat.
30th pitch of the inning for Lupke. Came in with 2 outs.
And that forces in a run. RBI 35 for Russell. 5-0 Chicago. And Rock, that's a great point. He's only faced 4 batters.
Looks like that's all he's going to face.
Now we're going to have to see a double switch. So Clint Hurdle wanted Liriano to come out and pitch the 6th inning, save the bullpen an inning. Liriano couldn't finish the inning. Lupke brought in to get 1 out. He faces Schwartz. Can't retire anybody. And now Caminero coming on here. And a 5-0 Cubs lead here in the 6th. And as we've seen, a lot of teams here that are very much in the midst of things. The Cardinals, Mets, Cubs, Giants, Dodgers, Mariners, all teams that are in first or second place in their division. So the Pirates, tough road for the rest of this month.
Want to be the best, got to beat the best.
Right now, the best is the Cubs, and the Pirates trail 5-0. Sean Rodriguez in on the double switch. He'll take over in left field.
Monero, we've seen, have struggled with his command at times. And, with the 15 walks in 20 and third innings, needs to throw strikes here.
Base is still full. Ninth batter in the inning. And strike one to Montero, who's 0 for 3 today. A 2-out RBI single by Ben Zobrist took this from a 2-0 to a 3-0 game. Corey Lupke came on to try to get the final out. He walked 3, 2 plus 1 intentionally, and then the run scoring double by Almora. So now Almora has moved to third. Baez, who was intentionally walked, he's at second, and then Russell at first. And it took 6 tries, but they get the final out of the inning. Cubs add to their lead. It's 5-0 Chicago. Before the game, throwing out the first pitch. Also be the guest conductor here. Take me out to the ball game. And sharing a hug with Clint Hurdle too. I'm thinking that he coached for the Cardinals and the Reds, and Clint Hurdle played for both of those teams. I wonder if they crossed paths in those times. But longtime baseball men on playing ranks, coaching ranks, somewhere along the lines. And ever since Harry Carey passed away, the Cubs have continued on his tradition of singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with a special guest. And Jim Deshaies on the left, Len Casper on the right. The Cubs television crew talking with Mr. Cardinal. Trevor Cahill, the new pitcher for the Cubs, picking up for Arrieta. And Josh Harrison to lead things off. got to bust through here in the later innings. Pirates last night with 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th made a go of it.
Veteran Cahill 0-2 with 2.83 ERA. Opponent sitting just 193 against him.
Ball 1 to Mercer. He had one of the 2 hits so far by the Pirates. They came in succession in that 3rd inning against Arrieta. Pirates have managed 5 base runners. Those back-to-back hits. Mercer was running on a Stewart single and set up 1st and 3rd with nobody out, and then Arrieta struck out the next 3 men to end the inning. This time Cahill gets the 2nd out. Let's look at another Point Park tweet from earlier today, and Jordy Mercer sending this one out before coming to the ballpark. And that's his dad on the ranch in Oklahoma. Turning out, I believe that's wheat, right? Yeah, the wheat is turning out great this year, he said, on the Mercer Ranch. There's a shot of Americana right there, huh? Seeing that reminds me of a time a few years back when I was working in Great Falls, Montana, calling the games there, and a wheat farmer came up to me and told me that he likes listening to ball games when he's out there on the tractor on the wheat fields, and I thought that was really neat, getting that visual picture of someone working the fields, listening to a ball game on the radio. I said, there is nothing more American than that. Yep. That was a cool picture from Jordy Mercer today. Chris Stewart hanging in there today. Took a ball off of his right wrist, forearm area, but trying to gut through it. They call catching the tools of ignorance.
They get banged up. All of them do.
This should be 3-1. I think we've got it right. Everybody have it right? Yep, they got it right there now. You would not believe that, but that is the quickest ball and strike scoreboard in baseball. It's the oldest, and it's the best in terms of quickness and accuracy. Might have not had it quite up there this one time. I've been caught a few times looking up there, and usually you're set to add the result of the pitch to the scoreboard because they are a tick slow usually, but not here. Cahill retires the Pirates in order in the 7th. Time to stretch in Chicago. 5-0 Cubs.
Let's win this game. Come on, let's win this game.
And of course, the incomparable duet of Jose Cardinal and Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam lead singer, combining and Take Me Out to the Ball Game. They'll be appearing all throughout Skokie and neighboring areas, singing songs, baseball tunes. And Trevor Cahill will lead off the 7th. Cubs pitcher. Anderson gets the first out. Let's take a look at the Volkswagen standings, and the Cubs with a 9.5 game lead over the Cardinals. Pirates caught there in the middle right now, the same distance between they and the Brewers, who have hung around into Cincinnati in the recesses of the division. You can always look towards center field if you want to know. Try to get that black flag to the top. But right now down 5-0.
Crazy how the expectations have changed over the last 4 years. 4 years ago, the Pirates hovering around 500 was a big deal. Hovering around 500 now is almost like a disaster.
In June, right?
Disaster is a bit much, but certainly a disappointment.
Well, yeah, the expectations are high, not only away from the team, but within the team. Players, coaches, and manager, front office. And so far, we've seen a stretch of good pitching this year. We've seen a long stretch of good hitting. Right now, we're not seeing much of either.
Well, it's the team is certainly capable of more. You know, it's been disappointing. There have been, especially on the pitching side, it just hasn't been a good year so far. Jameson Taillon hoping to change that as he's inserted in the rotation.
That's a foul ball.
Shouldn't say that. I don't know if he's been inserted in the
For now.
rotation, but obviously, yeah.
Well, if he keeps pitching like he did
Yes.
in New York, he'll be there to stay.
But, it doesn't matter what kind of offense you have. If you don't pitch well, it's hard to win ball games.
Bucks bats have been slowed lately too. That's been such a strength. Talked about that as we began the broadcast today. But like you said, Rock, I'm with you on that. I think we know that this team is capable. I mean, look, Andrew McCutchen last night with those 3 hits. Prior to that, he was hitting 140 in July or in June. You don't expect him to hit but double that at least, right? And there have been a lot of guys who have kind of done better than expected this year as well.
I mean, the offense, yeah, there's improvement there too, but that hasn't been the big issue. The big issue has been the starting pitching.
No doubt.
And the pitching in general. I mean, the back end of the bullpen.
That's going to be your weakest link. Usually, right?
The back end of the bullpen, meaning Melanson, Watson, Phillies, have been good. We're used to them being great. You know, there's been a couple of hiccups with Tony Watson, which is like crazy because he's usually lights out. But there have been a couple of hiccups back there, but it's still a strength, and you still want to get the ball to them. Just haven't been able to get it to them as often or as consistently as the Pirates have been able to do the last 3 years.
We're just not seeing a lot of starts where the starting pitcher has gone either 5 innings or allowed 3 runs or fewer. Other than Taillon, no starter has done that since June 7th. That's 10 days ago. So you start thinking, and I'm not just pointing out Taillon, it just happens to be the guy who hasn't done that, but you're either not getting 5 innings or you're not getting 3 runs or fewer, and then you're down 4-1, 4-2, unless you're really, swinging the bats that night. That's why starting pitching is so important. But Taillon a bright spot for sure. And look, we've seen all the other starting pitchers have some good runs But they've got to be able to do it more consistently.
Yeah,
There's no doubt.
every starting pitcher that the Pirates have used are certainly capable. But for the most part, it's been a disappointment. You mentioned it, consistency. Liriano has been inconsistent. Jeff Locke, Juan Nicasio.
This should be out number 2. And they lost it in the sun. And once Polanco stuck his hand up as if to shield his eyes, McCutchen had to try to locate it, and I don't know if he was able to see it in time either.
And hard to know if Polanco's yelling for help. I mean, if you can't see it, you have to yell for help. And Andrew can see that he's struggling. And by the time he tried to come to the rescue, too late.
Now 2 men aboard with 1 out, and Zobrist. Stewart keeps that one in front of him for ball 1.
And hard to say if they still do this or not. But it used to be in spring training in the outfield. You'd work on drills in the sun. They coaches back then, Bill Verdon, would hit balls into the sun, or have the machine throw the ball up in the sun, and you'd work on getting the ball out of the sun and ways to get it out of the sun. I mean, you'd have flip downs, or nowadays you don't see flip downs anymore. But there's very different shades of flip down. Some are darker than others, some are lighter. But you would work on moving around the ball, and so you change your angle so the ball will be out of the sun. I don't know if they still do that anymore.
I hadn't heard of that before, but that seems to make a lot of sense. If you have time on a ball like that, that's hit high in the air.
For instance, Gregory there was like, trying to think, I think his left shoulder was forward as he looked up. Now, if you get turned around to where your right shoulder is, I mean, you have a different angle looking up. You know what I mean? If he can get around it, that's kind of the drills, what the drills were that we did or tried to do.
Harrison recovers to get the out. Runners in scoring position, but 2 gone now for Rizzo. That seems to make a lot of sense. I hadn't thought about that one before, but yeah, it's starting to be later afternoon now, 4 o'clock here. Rizzo walked back in the 6th inning. He's been hit by a pitch a couple of times and has struck out, so he's yet to put the ball in play. Five-0 Chicago in the 7th. Fowler getting a walking lead from 3rd with the shift on, and Freese playing way off the line, of course, with that shift. That's Freese at shortstop. Fowler gets whatever he wants at 3rd. Now 3 balls at a strike. Now the Pirates have already walked 9 men today.
Hit 2. Well, hit 1 man twice.
That's Rizzo. And now a strike.
he sets in. I mean, again, why not just try to pound it on the inside corner? I know Liriano tried it and hit him a couple of times, but as soon as he gets set up, his hands are over the plate.
And there's walk number 10. Now the Cubs have stranded the bases loaded in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. They did score 3 times in the 6th. They've got the bases loaded again. And here is Albert Almora Jr. 2 out of 3 today, and Ray Searage has really got his Fitbit going today. Lots of steps.
These Cubs, they make you throw strikes. I mean, they're not a team that hits for a real high average. Came in to today's game hitting just .255. Team on base percentage of .347. That certainly has gone up. Does that lead the league? It does. Cubs do lead the league in on base percentage. 7th in hitting.
Pirates have walked 10 in a game 4 times this year now.
Wow.
They haven't walked 11 in a regulation game since 2006. And they can't get an out there. They're going to give him an out there as Harrison is down. I'm going to see if he can get up. Collided with Rizzo, who was just trying to complete the move around the bases. Harrison's banged up. Joe Madden may want to challenge this. And I don't know how they awarded an out there, and I think Joe Madden's thinking the same thing. But
well, it's not a force, and I think Rizzo assumed that the throw was going to go to first, so he wasn't prepared to see. He had his head down. He may have thought it was going through. And as they fall over, I'm guessing the glove hit. Yeah, the glove hits Rizzo once. It hits Rizzo twice. But the run will score.
And no challenge for the Cubs. And hopefully Harrison will be okay. Still hasn't made his way back to the dugout yet. Cubs get a run. And they lead 6-0 as we. Well, let's see. Now the challenge is here. So the Cubs want to see what's happening here, and Gary Cederstrom pointed toward home plate, meaning the run counts. That would be Fowler scoring ahead of this out here, because and so here the out is, there's no out recorded until the tag is here. So Rizzo is running past second. There's no force out. Now this is very close.
Yeah, maybe the Pirates are challenging this because. And
now there's the out. Yeah, I don't think the run scores. I don't know. It's very close. And that just goes to show you, if you're a young person watching the game after school today, score that run. Just come in and score. You don't know what's going to happen behind you. And the run is going to count, according to Gary Cederstrom. And it was a Pirates challenge. So Clint Hurdle hoping to take that run off the board. But Gary Cederstrom says the folks in New York say it will count. And hopefully Josh Harrison will be okay after that collision. So now 6-0 Chicago. The run counts after the Pirates challenged whether Dexter Fowler had come in and scored prior to Rizzo being tagged out after already reaching second base safely. Trevor Cahill working to Sean Rodriguez here in the 8th.
So they replayed that, reviewed that, and said that he did not make the tag. That's a bad call. That was horrible. Why have review? That was a really bad call, in my opinion.
So what happened? I didn't hear the results of that.
Well, they said the run counts. So he was tagged before the run across the plate.
No, I thought you meant that the tag wasn't made. Okay. Yeah, because in that situation, if it's a force out, the inning ends, no big deal. But now Rizzo reaches second base safely. He's there. Harrison's drawn off the bag. Rizzo's still safe at this moment.
Well, I thought he tagged him in the leg before
he
tagged him in the stomach.
But certainly tagged him there. Hot shot for Russell. And 1 out in the Pirates' 8th inning. So I guess that's the difference. If he wasn't tagged.
Now watch.
Okay. So if he's tagged there.
He's tagged in the leg and in the stomach.
And now he's tagged there. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Rock. It doesn't look like Fowler scored. And again, as Jaso trying to get out of the way of that one. And I believe that hit him. Didn't see the signal from Cedarstrom. Yep, he's going to go to first base.
Breaking ball off the front foot.
And Joe Madden coming out. That's going to be it for Cahill here in the 8th. The 8th. And they will call on their 3rd pitcher of the afternoon. Trevor Cahill has departed the ball game. Now Travis Wood.
Veteran Wood. 249. Not a lot of strikeouts, just 19 and 25 in the 3rd. But opponents hitting just 161 against him.
Polanco 0 for 2 with a walk. This one endeavoring to reach the seats, it will. Now we're trying to find out from the MLB Replay Center in New York exactly what the ruling is. Usually we get an email a few minutes after the ruling to describe what's happening, but we're trying to get a detailed response on what they thought about Dexter Fowler crossing home plate, whether it was confirmed or the call stood, or what they saw. These are major league umpires that are in the replay studio, and the Chelsea district of Manhattan. They get one out, and they get the force, I should say, the tag out there on Jaso, and ends up being a double play. Beautiful images on our Allegheny Health Network Super Mole. 6-0 Chicago as they twist and shout. The Safe Ferris t-shirts given away in the bleachers today at Wrigley. And we got word from New York. They tell us that the reason that the run scored is because the Pirates challenged whether it was a force out, and they did not challenge the tag out portion of that play and whether the run scored. So they were not reviewing that portion of the play, and so that's why there was no determination whether Fowler was out or safe at home plate.
It's the only thing that makes sense.
Well, that's from the umpires in New York relaying that to us from the MLB Replay Center. Pirates challenging that 6th run in the 7th inning. We're now in the bottom of the 8th, and it's good to see Josh Harrison back out there after getting tangled up with Rizzo. Rob Scahill now on for the 8th.
I hear it's not the first time Rizzo's done that. I was kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt, thinking that maybe he just had his head down, thought it was going into center field, but apparently, from what I'm told, that's kind of his thing. He just wants to run through the bag to beat the force in order for the run to score.
Because if you slide, it slows you down. Is that the thought?
Didn't get
that
that's information, but
that's not typical baseball practice. But I mean, I guess if you were to interpret,
that would make, sprinters don't slide when they go through the finish line. I guess that's Rizzo's idea, is that they'll just sprint right through.
3-0. Got a strike. Now full 3-2 on Russell. Had a 13-pitch battle his last time up with Corey Lukey. He worked a walk with the bases loaded. Walks have been a theme today. The Pirates have issued 10 base on balls. Two have come around to score.
Half the Cubs hitters have come to the plate and have reached base so far. 21 of 42.
So it's almost fortunate, really, that it's been 6-0. Cubs have left on 15 runners. Matt Caesar with a 2-run home run on the second pitch of the game. And there's the 11th walk. Pirates had not walked 11 batters in a regulation 9-inning game in almost 10 years. Pirates themselves have managed 2 hits today. Those both came in succession off Arrieta in the 3rd inning. The good news is they got him out after 6 innings. Bad news is the 2 times that they had chances they couldn't convert because Arrieta struck out every man he faced after the Pirates got runners out.
Big pitches when he had to.
And it was a 2-0 game until the 2 outs in the 6th. Very much a closer feel then.
The Pirates have had a couple of chances. The Cubs, on the other hand, have had many.
And the walks have definitely played a big role here in the later innings. Laureano went 5 2/3. Gave up 4 runs. One of those an inherited runner that scored. He walked 5. Lupke walked 3. 1 intentionally. Did not retire the batter. Caminero 2 base on balls in his inning and a 1/3. Gave up a run. Now Scahill. I'll even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Use ground ball at somebody.
John Lester, scheduled starter for Chicago, the lefty.
And you have to assume that, as always, David Ross will catch John Lester. And so then you sit there and you scratch your head and wonder, why would they bring their young catcher up to sit the first 2 games? Just to, I guess, just to watch.
Take it in, I guess. Not sure. Wilson Contreras, who was just called up today, and widely talked about prospect, who that's David Ross with the jersey top. John Neese, another lefty, twirls tomorrow. Caught. There's 1 and 2. A double play. 9th inning coming up, and the last licks for the Buccos, trying to avoid getting shut out. in a series against the San Francisco Giants, and you can see the first game of this series on Monday starting at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason right here on Root Sports. And this is Wilson Contreras making his major league debut. He'll catch the ninth. Contreras, who had a great bit of success in the minor leagues, and one of those anticipated prospects that the Cubs seem to keep churning out. New battery with McCutchen the batter and Grimm the hurler. And the Pirates will have their third hit of the day.
Even out. Andrews had his share of lineouts. He'll take a swinging bunt. And Justin Grimm preparing for the 30th time. 5.09 ERA. 4 home runs allowed.
Now it's a good start if the Pirates want to keep this streak going. They're the last club to be shut out this season in baseball. David Freese 0 for 3. Pirates needed to score in the ninth inning to break that up on Wednesday. Had to score in the eighth. They were blanked until then last night in New York. Rizzo now playing behind McCutchen at first. 2 strikes. Jung Ho Gung has moved out on deck. He would bat for Scahill.
Fans loving the hustle.
Wilson Contreras blocked the ball in front of him. It was as routine as it gets, but 40,000 plus today, enthralled by his first movements. But you know how it is. It's we saw Jameson Taillon, the latest prospect to come up for the Pirates. The anticipation of seeing him live, seeing him in action, and that's what the Cubs fans have with Contreras.
Good thing at least the Pirates didn't bring Taillon in the 9th inning 6-run game just to give us a little sneak peek. I think it's so odd. It's so different. I don't ever recall this happening.
Yeah, that guy making his debut as a defensive replacement in a 6-0 game in the ninth. But if nothing else, maybe to just get the jitters out.
I suppose.
There's Taillon. We'll see him on Sunday night. And Freese staying alive.
Yeah, barely on that last one. A little bit of an awkward swing, maybe not picking it up. Pitch looked to be a bit up and in.
Flare and hanging up there long enough for Caesar. At 2.
Thought with the wind blowing in that might knock it down even further. You could tell that shortstop Russell wasn't going to get there.
So Jung Ho Gung to pinch hit for Scahill. Having a fine campaign since getting healthy. Cahill issues a scoreless inning. Worked around that walk to face the minimum. The irony is they bring in Justin Grimm to maybe signify the Pirates' hopes here. I mean, what a morose way to think about the ninth inning. Bring in a guy named Grimm. Why can't you bring in a guy named Walk in the ninth inning in a 6-0 game, right? That's your hopes. Now, John Neese kind of sounds like nice, right? He won't be nice to them tomorrow.
I hope not. Jung Ho Gung. After his first couple pitches, Jung Ho Gung almost looked out there like, what is going on? We got 6-0. Yeah, I like the fastball, but 6-0. Slider, slider, slider. I finally turned the fastball upstairs and then went right back to the slider. And another slider.
They've gone 66 games without getting blanked. Now they're down to their last out. Cubs trying to take the opener of this series. Harrison 0 for 3. Lined out his last time. McCutchen not being held on. It'll be indifference. Still hanging in there. So you're saying there's a chance.
Well, maybe Jay Hay will hit him a souvenir.
That's right. Wear it proud. Well, the Pirates trying to avoid falling beneath 500. They have not been in that spot since the first throws of the season. Pirates were 7-8 on April 20th. Swing.
We're going to have to hear that awful song.
Ooh. Don't let me think of that yet.
That's grim.
And there's a walk. Two men aboard. Not over yet with Jordy Mercer coming up. Hey, if nothing else, it's been a beautiful afternoon here in Chicago. And hoping to see maybe one of the more thrilling comebacks. And Rizzo and Harrison, last time they met up was at second base. Now the runners will move up. Getting away from Contreras in his first inning in the major leagues. And Contreras giving a grim little pep talk.
Unable to get the body in front of it, kicks away.
ball and a strike. Mercer with a base hit back in the third. Stewart followed with one in that third inning, and then McCutchen led off the ninth with an infield hit. Those have been the 3 hits today against the Cubs. And now 2-2.
Picking up a couple RBIs here, Jordy.
Try to stave off that shutout. Start from there. And that'll do it. And for the first time all season, the Pirates whitewashed at the hands today of the Cubs.
And not a pretty ball game. Arrieta, you know it's always going to be tough to put runs on the board, and boy, 2 pitches in, the Cubs had a 2 spot, so Arrieta with a cushion from the get-go, and then from there it was just a struggle from the pitching side of it, and the Pirates offense never really did get going.
Yeah. Pirates pitchers walk 11 today, the most in a 9-inning game in 10 years. And the Cubs open this series today with a 6-0 win over the Pirates. Let's go back to the studios with Dan and Teak.